In this video, I'm going to show you the most powerful technique that I found for shifting through parallel reality timelines. You're going to learn exactly how to shift your timeline to a more optimal one so that you experience what you want easier than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron. I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of the most powerful technique that I found for shifting probable timelines, realities, parallel timeline realities. It's about understanding, first off, I have to give this spiel in almost every parallel reality video I do because it explains how this process works and it explains how reality really works, because it is not so much that we attract something into our life, like something over there, we attract it into our life. It is more so we recognize that we are shifting through parallel realities, and if there is something we want to experience, what we do is we identify the vibration of the reality we want to experience, and we embody it now, which then shifts us to a probable reality to where we have that thing in our life. So it's about being aware of the energy dynamics here, because the way that reality works is that we are shifting through billions of parallel reality per second. That sounds like a big thing. Like, how are we shifting through billions of parallel realities per second, bro? It doesn't seem very probable, right? Well, it is probable. Let me show you why. If any little variable changes, it is a completely different parallel reality. So for example, I'm here right now. There's a leaf over there. If that leaf goes this way because of the wind instead of this way because of the wind, every little micro change is a complete total change. Just like if you had that of a film strip, and you have a film strip and you were to stretch out the film strip, some of those little strips will look so similar. They'll almost look like the same exact frame. But we know that even if it is the same exact frame, it's a totally separate frame, even if it looks the same, because as the film is going quickly and the light is going through the projector, or through the film, it then goes onto the projector, and you see this continuity going like this. But in actuality, we know in the same way that if you were to take a film strip and stretch it out, there's individual frames there. Well, every little difference in a parallel reality is a total separate change. It'll look the same, but it's not. Totally different parallel realities. So we're shifting through them every moment. Even as I go like this right now, I'm shifting through different parallel realities. Now, the idea is that we are on certain timelines based on the momentum that we currently have. So there's a certain momentum you have. There's a momentum of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. And that momentum is what's going to determine the timeline that you stay on. Now, there's many different timelines that you could experience, and those depend upon your choices, the choices that you make. If you choose to go to the gym today, or you choose to go to McDonald's, those are two different choices you make. They have two different timeline probabilities. Now, what increases probability is simply making new choices. When you make new choices, you start to increase and shift the timelines. Now, when it comes to this process, the reason I think parallel realities also makes it easier to manifest is because then what you can do is you can look at the energy dynamics of this process. So for example, when you're knowing and you have this awareness that you're shifting through parallel realities, you can imagine the best possible version of you. What would you be doing? How would you be thinking? And you can look at these different dynamics. How would you be feeling, thinking, acting? And when you see that, you can then start to align with it. You can start to embody those now. What a lot of people do is they desire something. They say, I really, really want that. When you say, I really, really want that, you emphasize that in the current parallel reality you're in, you don't currently have it. So instead what you can do is you can be aware of the energy dynamics, and you can start to take action as if you already had it. This is where you start to bring in the Eastern philosophy of letting go. Instead of just desire, 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 it's desire and letting go, allowing. Because the version of you, like imagine the best version of you. You know, when I imagine the best version of me traveling the world, you know, interacting with people, there's a certain way I carry myself. And if I were to say, whoa, that'd be so amazing to experience that and to be that, then I put it on a pedestal. The moment you put something on a pedestal, you vibrationally separate yourself from it. So the key is being aware of these energy dynamics. And one of the best ways for you to attract and you to create what you want is actually to look more upon shifting through parallel realities. Because when you pay attention to that, you pay attention to the energy dynamics that are happening. So the other part of understanding this process is understanding the energy dynamics in the sense of what is called social conditioning. Because there are these forces that pull us in different directions. It's funny, I got a call last night from someone, and we were talking, and she saw something. She saw something on the, well, it was Lior. I was trying to make it all mysterious. So Lior called me last night, and she saw something that was kind of scary on, and I think it was the Kardashian story or something like that. It was something that really disturbed her, and I could tell she didn't even want to talk about it. She's like, she saw something that was just really eating away in her mind, and it was something that was disturbing her, and she knew it was going to be harder for her to sleep. Well, here's the thing. Anytime there's some type of thought, especially from society, what happens is this thought that comes in, whatever it is, if there's many other people that have also thought the same thought, because we're in a collective consciousness, what happens is that energy from the momentum of those thoughts of so many other people will pull us into that thought stream. And then we start to pick up on all the thoughts of everyone else that's thinking that. So when people, that's called a pendulum. So a pendulum is something that will suck us in, and we'll think that they're having our own thoughts, and they'll literally sometimes suck us into also parallel realities where we experience something that we don't want. The reason I say this is also social conditioning. When people have, they like a certain sports teams, what happens is they're thinking, they're linking up with other people that also like that sports team. They're feeling the emotions of that, and it's sucking them in to different realities. It has a certain pull on them. Even if it's not a direct pull, it's like they're sucking me into a reality where I'm going to a football game. But you might feel inclined to go to a football game because you feel the pull of that social conditioning. These are called pendulums. Thoughts we think are invisible are actually real. They're just not visible to our eye spectrum. But thoughts are actually things. And the collective thoughts, especially someone like somebody that posts something, millions of people see it, that creates a pendulum. So it's about being aware of these pendulums that are pulling us in different directions, because most people's lives are completely ran by pendulums, which could be being Republican, Democrat. They're other people's thoughts that people tie into. So therefore, they're living the same things over and over and over again because they're in the autopilot mind. So here's the thing with parallel realities, and I'll get to the technique here in 2 seconds, but you got to understand that most people are living on autopilot. They're not aware of what they're thinking. They're not aware of the things that are pulling them in different directions. Therefore, they're thinking the same thoughts every day. They're feeling the same emotions every day. They're doing the same things every day. They're getting the same results every day. And then they wonder, why isn't my life changing? And they need a transformation in their life, but that's not going to happen until they realize that they're sleeping. They're sleeping to the autopilot mind. They're sleeping and going through the motions, kind of like the movie The Matrix. In the beginning, it's like everyone's just kind of doing their robotic type jobs. I don't mean this in a mean way. I, for many years, was like that, and there's still parts of my life that are on autopilot, that I just go through the motions of. Sometimes I'm making videos. It's like I'm going through the motions of making videos. But then I'm like, no, I gotta wake myself up. Gotta be engaged. So, the most powerful technique that I found for shifting parallel reality timelines is to do something completely spontaneous. Completely spontaneous. Because this is the thing. Your current identity is what is keeping you locked into your parallel reality timelines. So if you keep eating the same diet you're eating, you're going to have a certain outcome. You're going to have a certain weight. You're going to have a certain body type. If you keep doing the same things in your relationship, the same things over and over again, then guess what? You're going to have a very similar type of experience. But here's the thing. If you stretch yourself and if you do new things, in the unknown, in the uncertain is where you create magic. This is something I learned from my boy, Dr. JoeDispenza. You guys ever heard of Dr. JoeDispenza? He wrote a book called How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. And in this book, he talks about how you wake up, you literally have to wake up and break the habit of being the autopilot mind. You have to go beyond that what you're currently thinking, beyond what you're currently feeling, beyond what you're currently doing in order to create something new. But you have to be willing to stretch. Stretching is the key. When you stretch and when you learn these different principles, it changes everything. When you know that there's these pendulums, these things that are pushing you in different directions, you start to become more aware of it. You're like, where am I getting sucked in right now? You're watching the news, you're angry at something this person said or the president said or whatever. But then you see it's a pendulum that's sucking you in, that's distracting you. It's distracting you from your spiritual awakening. It's distracting you from you knowing that you create your reality. It's all a distraction. Instead, focus on you. Focus on you, know that you're shifting. But the way, you don't have to learn how to shift through parallel realities. It's a natural byproduct for the way reality works. The key is doing it with awareness and learning different ways of going about it that aligns your energy to the reality you want. And there's something that I have that is called the Reality Shifting Academy. So I'm going to go ahead and link it below. I wasn't planning on talking about it in this video, but if you want month-to-month coaching showing you how to shift through parallel realities, giving you my best techniques for how I go through it, and how I use something called the slide technique, how I use something called creating a wave of success for my YouTube channel, creating it for pretty much my whole entire life, the lifestyle I have, how I use something called outer intention, which is the most powerful manifestation process that I found, which is the most powerful manifestation technique I found. I use it to attract this house that I'm in right now. And it's something that you can learn more about by clicking the link at the top of the description box below. There'll be a page there that explains more about it. But in general, also you can get coaching with me, showing you how to go through this process, plus a pendulum group where we all add energy to this process and we all become a part of this level of success. So it's kind of like the mastermind principle as well. There's many different benefits of it though. If you want to check it out, it'll be in the top of the description box below. But in general, there's hundreds of people in there, and there's people that will help you in this process, plus getting coaching with me and learning this all together. So that's called the Reality Shifting Academy, which is where I teach something also called reality transurfing, which is about how to shift through these different parallel realities. So for this process, understand that if you want to break through to a new level, the key is to be completely spontaneous. I was driving to the gym 2 days ago. And as I was driving to the gym, I said, you know what? I'm going to take a different route. This sounds small, but it's not, because then there's the same route I take every single day going to the gym. There's a certain way I go. Instead, I said, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go a way I don't normally go. And I went this different way. Small change. But then what it does is it starts to engage the mind more. The mind becomes more engaged. The mind becomes more engaged because it's not in the autopilot. It's like, oh, I have to actually think about where I'm going to turn and all of this stuff. Engage your mind. Now, the thing that Dr. JoeDispenza talks about that I was talking about earlier is he says that in order to create miracles in your life, you must get into the unknown. Nothing magical ever happens in the known. Imagine you go to the same job every day, you talk to the same people every day, you have similar conversations every day, you eat the same food every day, you do all the same things every single day. Where's the room for magic to happen? Everything is certain. Your reality is certain because of the choices you're making, so the probabilities, the timelines are always the same. You want to create a difference in the current choices you're making and the timeline that you're in by doing something spontaneous, which sets you on a new track. And every time you do something spontaneous, you start to create from this level of uncertainty. That's where you can create miracles. If you want to create miracles in your life, then focus more on how you can be spontaneous and jump into the unknown. Is there something you wanted to do but you never have, but you always wanted to try? Maybe yoga. Maybe cryotherapy. I'm going to do that later today. That's why I mentioned it. Which is like you freeze yourself. Maybe it's going for a certain type of run, or going to the park, or hitting up someone that you haven't talked to for forever. Whatever it is, do something that your normal identity doesn't do. Because as you do that, you stretch your identity. Because there's something called a cybernetic mechanism, which is within all of our identity. The way we see ourselves, we're always acting consistent to how we think, act, and feel. And based on how we think, act, and feel, and based on how we see ourselves, we always remain consistent to that. So some people say, it's so hard for me to quit smoking cigarettes. Well, have you changed your self-image? Because if you view yourself as a smoker, you will always continue to smoke because you have that identity. Even if you stop, you'll stop for a period of time and then go back to it. You have to see yourself as a non-smoker. You have to change the way you see yourself. What's comfortable for you? Get into the uncomfortable. Do things you haven't done before, because then you stretch your identity. As I move into traveling and doing meetups and doing these things that are beyond just online, beyond just like the virtual world of online on just YouTube, it's going to stretch my identity for the way I see myself. And then I'll experience a reality that's equal to that new identity. Find ways of challenging your identity, challenging what's comfortable for you. Because the more you do so, is the more you end up in the probability realities that you'd prefer to experience. So it's all about identifying what that is, understanding the more you set intentions, the more you change your life. That's something I teach a lot in Reality Shifting Academy. Is setting more intentions will change the probability factors of your reality. So start to focus more on setting intentions. What intentions are you setting for the day? I intend to have a great workout today. I intend to have a great time with this person, or enjoy my food, or whatever it is. Set intentions, because more intentions increase probability. So the most powerful technique that you can apply for shifting to parallel realities is to do new things and engage with like. Wake up. Wake up out of the autopilot mind. Understand that reality shifting realities is a natural byproduct for the way reality works. You don't have to learn how to do it. You just have to learn how to be more conscious about it and to be more aware of it. And if you want more on that, you'll see in the top description box below the Reality Shifting Academy, where you can get coaching from me. People ask me if I do coaching. That's the type of coaching I do. It's group coaching. Imagine being able to ask me any questions, live Q&As every month, videos every single week showing you exactly how to apply all of this. And that will allow you to then change your life and to literally shift to a completely different reality. If you click on that link, you'll see testimonials. You'll see what's possible. So another thing I'll be doing is more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, you'll see it right there. I also do twice a day. I post there as well. And you can get content there as well. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear next to the subscribe button so you can see the daily vids that I do. Other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.